Hi there. I'm really glad you clicked on this video today because what we're about to talk about could quite literally save your life or the life of someone you love. You see, when we think of stroke, we often imagine it happening suddenly without warning. But in truth, many strokes don't just happen. They build up silently, often influenced by the small habits we repeat every day, especially at night. That's why today I want to share with you 4 nighttime habits that many people over 70 are still doing without realizing they could be quietly increasing their risk of stroke. These aren't dramatic behaviors. In fact, they often seem harmless. That's what makes them so dangerous. Because by the time you feel the effects, the damage may already be done. Now let me be clear. This isn't about fear, it's about awareness. It's about understanding what's happening inside your body when you lie down at night and how some common evening routines might be working against your heart and brain health. As a doctor, and more importantly, as someone who's seen too many patients ignore early signs and seemingly small behaviors, I can tell you stroke prevention isn't just about medications and hospital visits. It's about what you do in the quiet hours when the world slows down and your body starts preparing for rest. So in this video, we'll go over 4 specific habits that can raise your risk of stroke after 70. I'll explain why they're harmful, how they affect your body overnight, and most importantly, what you can do instead. Stick with me through the end because even one small change to your evening routine could protect your brain, your mobility, and your independence for years to come. Let's begin with the first habit. Something so simple, most people don't even realize it's dangerous going to bed dehydrated. Habit 1, going to bed dehydrated. Let's start with something that seems so simple, so innocent, not drinking enough water before bed. I know many older adults avoid drinking fluids at night because they're worried about having to get up to use the bathroom. That makes sense. After all, nobody wants to disturb their sleep. But here's the hidden danger: going to bed dehydrated can quietly increase your risk of stroke, especially after 70. Let me explain why. When you're dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker and more concentrated. Your body produces less plasma, the liquid part of your blood, and this can cause your blood to flow more slowly. That slower, thicker blood is more likely to clot, and blood clots are one of the leading causes of stroke. Now, during sleep, your body naturally slows down. Your heart rate drops, your breathing steadies, and your blood pressure adjusts. But if your blood is already more viscous from dehydration, this slow nighttime circulation creates the perfect storm, especially in aging arteries that are already a bit stiffer than they used to be. And let's not forget that stroke risk is highest in the early morning hours, often between 6 Shuren and 8 Shuren a.m. That means the hours just before you wake up are critical. If you went to bed dehydrated, your body could be at its most vulnerable just when you're waking up. I've seen this play out firsthand. One of my former patients, a 74-year-old man, suffered a mild stroke just after waking. He wasn't on any dangerous medications. His lifestyle seemed healthy, but he admitted that he often skipped water in the evening, so he wouldn't need the bathroom at night. A small habit, but it had big consequences. So what can you do? You don't need to drink a gallon of water before bed. That's not helpful either. But try this: about an hour before you lie down, drink a half glass to full glass of water, enough to keep your body hydrated without overloading your bladder. You can also boost hydration throughout the day. If you stay well hydrated from morning to dinner, you won't need as much right before bed. Think of hydration as a long-term habit, not something to cram in at the end. Your blood flows better, your heart works easier, and your brain gets the oxygen it needs, especially while you rest. Next, let's talk about habit number 2, a sneaky one that affects your breathing and oxygen flow while you sleep: ignoring sleep apnea or loud snoring. Habit 2, ignoring sleep apnea or loud snoring. Now let's talk about something that might seem harmless, even humorous, but it's anything but loud snoring and untreated sleep apnea. If you're over 70 and you or your spouse snores loudly at night, it's time to pay attention, especially if the snoring is interrupted by moments of choking, gasping, or long pauses in breathing. These are classic signs of a condition called obstructive sleep apnea, and left untreated, it significantly increases your risk of stroke. Here's what happens. Sleep apnea causes your airway to collapse or become blocked while you sleep, which stops your breathing for several seconds at a time. Your brain then jolts your body awake to resume breathing, even if you don't fully realize it's happening. This can happen dozens, even hundreds of times per night. Every time it does, your body experiences a surge of stress, hormones, a spike in blood pressure, and a drop in oxygen levels. Over time, this creates damage in your arteries and raises your risk of blood clots, atrial fibrillation, and ultimately stroke. Many seniors think snoring is just an annoyance. But I've seen patients who dismissed it for years, only to find out they were stopping their breathing hundreds of times each night. One gentleman in his early 70s had suffered a minor stroke. Only after his wife insisted on a sleep study did we discover severe sleep apnea was part of the cause. So what can you do? First, listen to your body or your bed partner. If you snore loudly, gasp for air, wake up with headaches, or feel exhausted during the day, even after a full night's sleep, talk to your doctor. You might be referred for a sleep study, which can now be done at home or in a lab. If diagnosed, there are effective treatments from CPAP machines to newer, more comfortable devices that keep your airway open and your oxygen levels stable through the night. Some people even benefit from simple changes like adjusting their sleep position, losing weight, or avoiding alcohol before bed. The bottom line, don't ignore your snoring. It's not just a noise, it might be your body's cry for help. Now let's move on to habit 3, one that creeps into our evenings quietly and can raise your stroke risk without you even realizing it: eating heavy meals late at night. Habit 3, eating heavy meals late at night. This next habit is one that many of us fall into, especially after retirement, when our schedules become a little more relaxed. It's the habit of eating large or heavy meals late in the evening, often within an hour or two before bed. Now I get it. Sometimes dinner gets delayed, or you want to enjoy a nice meal while watching your favorite TV show at night. But here's what many people over 70 don't realize: your late-night eating habits can quietly raise your risk of stroke. Let's break down why. When you eat a large meal, especially one high in fat, salt, or sugar, your body has to work harder to digest it. This triggers a series of responses. Your blood pressure increases, your blood sugar spikes, and your cholesterol levels rise temporarily. If this becomes a regular pattern, especially before sleep, when your body should be winding down, you're placing extra strain on your cardiovascular system during its most vulnerable time. In addition, heavy meals can contribute to acid reflux, poor sleep, and even sleep apnea symptoms, all of which affect your overnight oxygen levels and heart rhythm. Poor sleep quality on a regular basis is strongly linked to higher stroke risk. And here's another piece of the puzzle: insulin resistance. As we age, our bodies don't process sugars and fats as efficiently. Late-night eating can worsen this, causing blood sugar to stay elevated through the night, another major factor in long-term vascular damage. I had one patient who regularly ate a full dinner at 9 p.m. followed by dessert and coffee. He didn't feel any different, but he had high blood pressure, borderline diabetes, and trouble sleeping. After he shifted his dinner earlier, around 6 p.m., and made it lighter, his sleep improved, his blood pressure came down, and his doctor reduced his medication within months. So what can you do? Aim to eat your last main meal at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Keep it light. Think steamed vegetables, a small portion of lean protein, or soup with whole grains. Avoid salty, sugary, or processed foods late at night. And if you need a small snack, choose something that won't spike your blood sugar, like a few almonds, a piece of fruit, or a slice of avocado toast. Giving your body time to digest before sleep reduces inflammation, supports brain health, and gives your heart the restful night it deserves. Next, let's move into habit 4, and it's one that happens not in your kitchen or bedroom, but in your mind: going to bed stressed or emotionally unsettled. Habit 4, going to bed stressed or emotionally upset. The final habit may not involve your body directly, but it might just be the most dangerous of all: going to bed feeling stressed, anxious, or emotionally unsettled. You see, after 70, your body becomes more sensitive to stress. Your ability to bounce back from emotional upset isn't what it once was, and unfortunately, the effects of chronic stress don't clock out when you lie down for the night. In fact, stress that goes unresolved throughout the day often shows up at night in your heart, in your blood vessels, and in your brain. Let me explain how. When you go to bed with a racing mind, a heavy heart, or unresolved tension, your body stays in a mild state of fight or flight. This causes your blood pressure to stay elevated, your heart rate to be less steady, and your breathing to remain shallow. You might not notice it, but your body's working harder than it should be when it should be resting and repairing. This state of hidden stress, especially if it becomes habitual, raises your risk of stroke by promoting inflammation, high blood pressure, poor sleep quality, and even arrhythmias, irregular heartbeats. Over time, this wears down your cardiovascular system and can silently damage your brain's delicate blood vessels. I once spoke with a woman in her late 60s who was caring for her spouse with Alzheimer's. She told me that every night she went to bed feeling anxious and overwhelmed. Eventually, she suffered a mini stroke in her sleep. The doctors told her it wasn't just about physical exhaustion, it was emotional stress that had built up over months without a proper outlet. So what can you do? Don't bring stress to bed. Try journaling before sleep, writing down what's on your mind so you don't carry it with you. Create a calming bedtime routine. Dim the lights. Play soft music. Breathe deeply. Stretch gently. Practice gratitude. Even just writing down 3 good things that happened that day can shift your mind from tension to peace. Talk to someone. Don't let worries fester alone. A friend, therapist, or spiritual advisor can help lighten your emotional load. The goal is to go to bed with a peaceful mind and a calm body. That state of rest is what allows your heart to slow your brain to heal and your blood vessels to relax. And those are the very conditions that help prevent stroke. Now let's wrap up with a heartfelt conclusion, bringing all 4 habits together and offering a few final thoughts on how you can take back your nighttime routine and protect your health. So there you have it, 4 nighttime habits that could quietly raise your risk of stroke after 70. They may not seem dangerous on the surface, but over time, these small routines can put silent strain on your heart, your brain, and your overall well-being. Let's quickly recap. Going to bed dehydrated leads to thicker blood and higher risk of clot formation. Ignoring sleep apnea or loud snoring causes oxygen dips, blood pressure spikes, and increases stroke risk during sleep. Eating heavy meals late at night triggers blood sugar and blood pressure imbalances while your body should be resting. Going to bed emotionally stressed keeps your body in a low-grade state of fight or flight, interrupting true recovery and heart health. Now, here's the good news. You have the power to change all of these things starting tonight. You don't need to overhaul your life. You don't need fancy equipment or expensive programs. What you need is awareness, intention, and a little consistency. Drink a small glass of water an hour before bed. Pay attention to your breathing. Choose a lighter dinner and eat it earlier. And above all, make space to relax your mind before you close your eyes. These changes may feel small, but over weeks and months they could mean better sleep, a stronger heart, clearer thinking, and a lower risk of stroke. And if you're watching this, it means you care about your health. That's the first step. You're not waiting for a crisis, you're choosing prevention. And that's the kind of wisdom that adds years to your life and life to your years. So please share this video with someone who might need it. A parent, a spouse, a neighbor, or a friend. Because the more we talk about these hidden risks, the more lives we can protect. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to subscribe, and come back each week for more down-to-earth, compassionate advice on aging well, living wisely, and staying healthy one day at a time. Until next time, take care of yourself. Rest deeply, and remember, your habits tonight shape your health tomorrow.